I, 22 male, am the youngest of 5 siblings, but my issue is with my brother Matt, 32 male. I came out as gay at 16 because I started a relationship with my current boyfriend. My whole family was so supportive, my parents, my other brother and my sisters, but Matt, for some reason, didn't accept me and distanced himself from me. He would ignore me at family gatherings and speak the bare minimum. Matt was married to Marina, 29 female, and they have an adorable young boy that my family loves. A year ago, my brother was caught cheating on Marina with a man, and he ended up coming out and divorcing Marina. He dumped Marina right after that. My family supported him and welcomed the affair partner as if nothing had happened. The affair had been going on for years before Marina found out. Marina was deeply hurt, and I felt sorry for her. I've known Marina since I was around 8 years. My brother and I kind of reconciled. He apologized for distancing himself. He said he was jealous of me because I could be true to myself, and he was stuck in a loveless marriage. My brother married his affair partner a week ago. I attended the wedding. The day before the wedding, Marina had posted about how hurt and blindsided she was, and how this, the wedding and cheating, was so wrong. 2 days ago was my dad's birthday, and we all gathered to celebrate it. And Matt started talking to us about how Marina had texted him, calling him names for accidentally tagging her. I couldn't keep it in, that was evil, and I knew it wasn't an accident. So I told him that Marina was right. He was an idiot, and that song wasn't to validate affairs and empower cheating partners, that he had some nerve to try to play the victim here. He didn't say a word and left, but then my parents started telling me that I ruined the evening and that I should know better since I'm gay too, and I should support him because he struggled with his identity his whole life. I get it, it's different for everyone, and not everyone is comfortable coming out, but that doesn't give you the right to hurt someone else's feelings, and he's trying to play the victim and portraying Marina as an evil, resentful ex who doesn't want him to be happy. They think I should apologize, and my whole family seems to be on his side. Not the idiot, no one forced him to marry. He was in his 20s when he did. He could have walked out any day and given no reason. He had a supportive family who accepted his brother. Cheating is cheating, and not only do you not have to accept that without judgment, but the fact that he re-victimized Marina that way is depraved. Yeah, he strung along an innocent woman for years in a loveless marriage, only to boast how he is now happy. He cheated for years on his wife unapologetically. Then, within a year, he was engaged and married. Finally, he retaliated against his hurt ex-wife and mother of his child by tagging her with his wedding vows. Those are the facts. Your brother is a cheater, plain and simple. There's being supportive of your child coming out as gay, and then there's enabling someone. Your family should put themselves in Marina's shoes and see if they would like to be treated that way. And I bet you they wouldn't. It was cruel from start to finish. What evil idiots. I feel bad for the ex and son. Their futures are going to be hard with them in their lives. Ask your family this. If Matt had been seeing another woman during his marriage and decided to leave his family and marry her, would they feel the same? Because if they would act differently if everyone in the situation was cisgender, then they are being hypocrites now by using Matt's struggles with his identity as an excuse for being a cheating jerk and now making Marina out to be the lousy ex-spouse instead of taking responsibility for his bad behavior. It has nothing to do with gay or straight, it has to do with respect. Brother owes Marina an apology for how he handled all of this, especially how he accidentally on purpose tagged her in the wedding video. My sister-in-law is 6 months pregnant and is high risk. Because of that, she's unable to work, so she can't keep her apartment. The father isn't in the picture, so she moved in with us. She and I have never had the best relationship, but I put that aside because my husband wanted to help her. We're not charging her rent or anything as she has very little money. We're buying all the groceries and I do a lot of cooking. Here is where the issue is. We live a pretty healthy lifestyle and I don't like a lot of junk food in the house as we want the kids to have healthier options, so I don't buy a ton. We aren't super strict or anything, but we will have a thing of ice cream for a week or so, and then next trip we might get a box of brownie mix or a bag of candy. Sister-in-law has constantly been requesting candy, ice cream, chips, pizza rolls and basically all junk food because she has cravings. Now, we aren't exactly rich, so I don't really want to be spending money on food that no one but her would eat. And I don't want to deal with the kids constantly asking why Nan can have ice cream for breakfast or pizza rolls for dinner. She's also been asking me to cook different meals as certain things make her feel bad. I get nauseous, but making meals that both of my kids will eat without complaint is hard enough. Last night she complained again that I don't keep anything she can eat in the house and didn't want any of the food I made. And later, when we didn't have ice cream, she asked if I would go get her something from the store. I got a little short with her and flat out told her that we were fine helping her, but we weren't her kid's father and we aren't just going to cater to her because she was pregnant. She cried and my husband felt stuck in the middle. Am I the idiot? Not the idiot. You're going above and beyond and allowing her to live in your home and provide quality shelter and food for her. Cravings are not necessities, they are desires. She's in a situation where, pure and simple, she didn't prepare herself to get all of her wants. Your comment was not out of line. She's not the first pregnant person ever, and her failure to plan is not your problem to solve. Remind her that no one ever died from not satisfying a craving. Plus, if her pregnancy is actually high risk, all that junk food is not helping. All that sugar, fat and salt content is not helping with her blood pressure or sugar, which could worsen things. She should be eating healthy food and leaving the junk for occasional indulgence. She's living in your house without contributing. She needs to stop being a choosing beggar. Also, just going to be a big meanie and say it, what's she going to do once the baby is born? Does she expect to live with you free of charge forever? What's your plan, OP? This whole scenario is terrible. Sit down with your husband and ask him what he thinks his sister should do about her situation if there were no you to take care of her. Make a literal list. Where would housing, food, medicine and things for the baby come from? Then start making that list because you are not here for this for 1 second longer than you have to be. If there's any way to get her settled and provided for somewhere else, you'd better do it in the next 2 months because there's no way you are moving her out with a baby. My ex-wife works out of town. She works for 2 weeks and then gets a week off. I used to do that schedule as well, but I now work as a maintenance planner from home. When we divorced, I got primary custody of our daughter and son since I was the one available to do the parenting. I have very little interest in discussing anything with my ex. Yes, there is a lot of bitterness and recrimination in our relationship. I loved my ex with all my heart, and while I always thought she was beautiful, it wasn't as easy for other people to see. However, when you're one of a dozen women in a 2,000-man work camp, you get a lot of attention. That's all I'm going to say about that. My daughter is a tween and she just got her first period. I grew up with sisters and I'm not a complete idiot, so I read up on what to do. I also talked to my mom and sisters about it. I gave her the boxes of pads. I explained to her that it was normal and healthy. I watched a video with her that was a tutorial on what to do. I also asked her if she would like to talk to either my sister or the woman I'm seeing about how to do everything right. She said she understood and would like to talk to my sister on the weekend. My ex called to talk to the kids yesterday and afterward yelled at me on the phone. She called me an idiot for excluding her from a milestone in her daughter's life. I asked her if it had happened during her week with the kids, would she have told me about it? She said that wasn't the point. It was a mother-daughter thing and I took it away from her. I said it was a parent-kid medical issue, making it a me thing. I'm a man, so maybe I don't get it. Am I the idiot? Everyone's the idiot here. You could have thrown in, do you want to call your mom when you threw out your sister's name and the woman you're seeing, not even a partner or girlfriend. Kids know when their parents have such a contentious relationship, and while you say you don't limit contact, I have to wonder, based on the disdain you have for your ex-wife, if she felt she could call her without you getting upset or hurt. Did she feel she was allowed to call her, or like she had to wait to see her in person? Your daughter would have contacted her mom if she wanted it to be a moment between them. Your daughter can decide whether to share that info or not. You did absolutely nothing wrong tending to her immediate needs. And it's really weird to make it a teary-eyed mummy-daughter moment. But no, it's not buying a wedding dress or going to graduation. You did fine. My brother is getting married in May. My brother and I aren't super close and haven't been for a long time. I moved to another state over 13 years ago and he's never been there, met my husband or any of that. I just occasionally see him when I visit my grandma. I've met his fiancée a few times and she's fine, but we're just very different people with very different lives and priorities. She's great for my brother, he's happy, and I'm happy for them. She is very high maintenance and is all about her dream wedding and being the princess. It's all she talks about and has been since they got engaged. She knew he was going to propose and she got her hair and makeup done and hired a cameraman for the surprise proposal and has 4 of the pictures framed in her living room of her looking surprised. Anyway, she excitedly asked me to be a bridesmaid, and while weddings are really not my thing, we literally got married in the kitchen by some lady we found on the internet 2 days prior, I said yes because it seemed important to her and I figured it would mean a lot to my brother. So I put on my helpful hat and jumped into the group chats. The group chats never stop, like ever. I'm expected to fly down for dress shopping and other important bridesmaids' duties, including rehearsing a flash mob dance. Anyways, I got pregnant, and after everyone found out, sister-in-law called me and told me the bridesmaid dresses she wanted to use for the wedding were going to be very form-fitting, and I probably wouldn't be comfortable being pregnant and all, and basically let me know I was no longer needed for the wedding party. But great news, I can still help with all the bridesmaids' duties. Now, here's where I may be the idiot. As she was going on about how I would still be an honorary bridesmaid, and I could still help with planning and the showers and the bachelorette party and all that, I cut her off, I was in a bad mood, and said, look, honestly, I really didn't want to be in the wedding in the first place, so I'm actually relieved I don't have to deal with it anymore. Apparently that upset her and made her cry, which led to an angry call from my brother who said if I didn't apologise to her, I am not invited to the wedding. So I'm considering not apologising and not having to travel to be at the wedding at this point. So am I the idiot? Not the idiot. Sounds like you were very supportive and then your sister-in-law tossed you aside because you were pregnant. She sounds like a handful and then wants you to do the work anyway. Don't apologise unless she apologises for treating you poorly. She kicked you out as a bridesmaid for being pregnant. If this were a job, it'd be illegal. Seriously, who throws someone out of the wedding party but still expects them to do all the bridesmaid duties? The fact that she didn't even ask OP if she'd be okay in that dress, or might want an alternative, makes me think she's one of those bridezillas who expects her bridesmaids to all look the same. It doesn't matter if you popped her princess bubble, just be glad you found an out. Disagree. A lot of people don't want a bridesmaid when heavily pregnant. The dress becomes a nightmare, she and OP aren't close. Sounds like she offered an out but didn't want OP to feel like she couldn't be involved. Remember, we're reading this from OP's point of view, which is absolutely dripping with disdain and for some reason assumes negative intent at every step. LOL. Agree. I think you should have said no from the start if you don't like weddings at all to save yourself from all this drama, and everything up until the convo about the dress sounds pretty typical. You did blindside her though by agreeing to be a bridesmaid initially, only to rudely say, I never wanted to anyway, and I'm actually relieved to not have to deal with it, when you found an opportunity to do so. It was more hurtful than what was called for. My wife and I both have children from prior relationships, and a few months ago we welcomed our new son into the world. My wife's brother lives pretty far away and we haven't seen him since the wedding. He flew in to meet the baby and has been staying with us. This past weekend was my custody time with 2 of my children. My ex-wife said she was uncomfortable with our children staying in the same home as a man she'd never met. At her request, I asked my brother-in-law to stay in a hotel Friday, Saturday, Sunday nights and offered to split the cost. The request offended him, so I offered to eat the entire cost. He was still angry and called me some rude names. He did leave and didn't tell me what hotel he was staying at or contact me about reimbursing him. He was supposed to return today, but he never did. We found out he'd already flown home. My wife is upset that her brother left and blames me. He didn't even talk to her before making this impulsive decision. I was just trying to maintain a working co-parenting relationship with my ex. My wife says I chose my ex over her, but I didn't mean to. I didn't know my brother-in-law would leave. Am I the idiot? You are the idiot for inviting your brother-in-law to stay with you and then kicking him out of the house and initially asking him to pay for half the hotel bill. If your ex's concern was that she has never met this guy, you could have asked to switch weekends to a later weekend or invited her over before the weekend to meet him. Also, you never told your wife that you were kicking her brother out of the house before going to him. That was also an idiot move. You're prioritizing your ex over your new life. Just because she doesn't like something doesn't mean you have to jump at the chance to appease her. She can't withhold your kids from you. Your brother-in-law didn't just show up one day out of the blue, so you knew that you would have your kids when he would be there. Yet you wanted him to front the bill, or half, after he'd already been invited to stay. How awful. Is anyone looking at this from the wife's point of view? She's over there going, so I can't have my brother spend the night in my own home because hubby's ex doesn't approve. What the heck, OP? No wonder she's angry. I'd be livid. Maybe you should have taken your kids to a hotel since you're so dead set on honouring your ex's every whim with no regard to how it affects others. Is your ex living with a new husband, and have you told her that you're uncomfortable with your children living with that man that you've never met? If you hear how stupid my question is, then surely your ex's request is pretty stupid as well, especially if you've met your brother-in-law before. It's manipulative by your ex, and I doubt it was about safety. It's about her being able to dictate what goes on in your home. They're your kids too. Are they just not meant to bond with your wife and their stepmother's family ever? Quit letting your ex control your household.